Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
And it seems I am solo. Jenny Morgan in the Jenny, what are you doing in the chat? Get your butt in here. And we got Demon Orb. So not that many people in. Unfortunately, for anybody who happens to be listening at the moment, Purple was unable to make it again today. Apparently, Sloth Girl is having to go to the hospital with some pains or feeling weak. And let's switch out the background here. This looks like Purple's wearing like a mask. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that for now. Yeah, Deep State. Hello. All right, thank you for you. See you in here in a bit. Well, today is Civil Disobedience Day. So July 3rd, 2024. If you're not one to play by the rules, then Disobedience Day is celebrated on July 3rd each year. Here's a day you just can't miss out on. Yeah. If we were being fancy and literary, we'd probably use the term Carnem Valesque. I can't even pronounce that. But whichever you say, it's about letting loose and being a bit subversive in your own right. Subversion has been popular throughout history. In fact, the very wheels of history have often turned based on subversive events of every kind. But through bloody revolutions, flower power, or listening to rebel rock and roll, or just standing up for the underdog, everyone can find it in themselves to break free of the constraint in society he has imposed, even and if it's just a little bit. Essentially, at its core, Disobedience Day is about nonviolent and protest of issues, laws, or causes which are perceived to be unjust, which can get you run over by a car in Florida. So we're in no way encouraging kids to disobey either parents or for anyone to use this as an excuse to rail against the man. And the true spirit of this day is in trying something different and standing up for yourself, for someone else, especially if you're burning by rules of structures which have been misused or made a life if just is too mundane. So what are you doing there, Jenny?
Nothing. Just thinking back to my hippie days and getting hassled by the cops and some minor hippie riots of the day. Um, brings back memories. Brings back memories. That's for sure. The fights I was involved in were in back in Milwaukee, and at that time the police chief was Harold Breyer, who was just an absolute Nazi, and he had his own personal group of officers who did nothing else but do what he said directly, and their instructions were to get those damn kids away from that water tower. Well, in Milwaukee, there's this 1800s light tower or lighthouse. That's basically just a tower. Nobody lived in it, and it's just a very lovely place. And there's this small little park in there, and people really enjoyed going, hanging out there, drinking some beers, and smoking some dope, and just enjoying things. And Harold Breyer decided he didn't want us to do that anymore, so he sent in his goon squad to beat people up. And I didn't get beat up directly, but I sure got shoved around some because I was kind of tiny in those days. And it was people took the Vietnam War as the theme for our side, that we're protesting against that. But it was at that time, it was really very much, don't take away our place to meet and get together. We're allowed to do this. You can't just throw us out like that, much less abuse us. But in those days, abuse was okay from the police. So it left a bad taste in my mouth for a long time.
Let's see. There doesn't seem to be any record as to when this day was first observed. According to this.
I'm having a little trouble hearing.
This was there's no record as to when the day was first observed, I said. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm not too low, am I?
No.
You're a little quiet.
Huh, that's weird. Check my... No? All my settings are normal.
You're not too loud. I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Hi, Commander.
Hello. Civil Disobedience Day. I actually was working on a render for a new video. I will send you that particular render mage.
What do you think of the background for today?
I like it.
It's kind of cute.
Who else in the chat here? Captive Desk, Robin, and Hamster, Beamsy. All right, got some people in here.
Did you tell folks why Perp's not here?
I did mention it, but since probably had people not here at the time, Soft Girl had to go to the hospital for a bit. She was feeling weak and was having trouble breathing, so having pains and stuff.
Well, I certainly don't protest at all him doing that. I mean, him and Sloth Girl grew up together from very early childhood on.
Yeah,
they're like brother and sister.
we're sisters.
And oh yeah, that's right. Well, in those days.
Oh yeah.
But Perp's got to do what Perp's got to do, and that comes first.
Yeah, I'd definitely say Sloth Girl takes priority over a stream.
Families come first.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's actually about 20 seconds of the camera moving in towards the middle finger as the Moskov approaches, and it's photoreal like that all the way through.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
I don't have the full render. This actually started when I was in the middle of it, but I did set up the scene.
Our right to protest is under attack. You know that, guys, don't you?
Yes.
There's been a number of localities or states that have passed laws that basically forbid protesting or try to end it by making it too cumbersome to do. That whoever organized it, for example, is personally responsible for all the damage that is caused.
So you need to have a corporation actually organize it and then demand that they try to pierce a corporate veil.
Well, I can't understand why that would not be considered very much unconstitutional.
Oh, I'd call it unconstitutional. I already have plane tickets to Australia in late December. If Biden wins, we come back to America. If we don't, if he doesn't, then I stay in Australia.
Well, this country is certainly losing its appeal to me pretty quickly.
Say again? I didn't hear.
I said this country is very much losing its appeal to me very quickly.
Empire in decline.
Well, I mean, you got the religious fundamentalists, right? So that those fuckers actually want to. Well, I'm not going to go deep into religion. Just say those fuckers are the Christian Taliban, and their end times theology is identical to that of Patriarch Carell.
Did you hear that the evangelicals are tired of being called evangelicals and wanted a new name? So they look at themselves and they realize that they were so obsessed by people's genitals that they're now known as the evangenitals.
Oh, God. Why can't these people... My life is complicated enough. Why the hell would I want to just sit there and try to run other people's lives through the government?
Because they like control and they got big egos. They think that they're important enough to rule everybody, or that they got some specialness to them that no one else has.
Well, there is a specialness, but it's the kind that requires a fucking straitjacket, not necessarily any good kind of special.
Well, I won't disagree with that. I'm the thing that upsets me most is how there can be so many people who think a dictatorship or an authoritarian government is good. You know, they must not realize at all how it's going to affect them personally.
You also
Probably
have
not.
you also have the fucking religion again, where, you know, like, I'm not going to touch anything that we all grew up with. There's a Hopi Indian legend, to give you an idea what the Christians are doing, that says the earth will be cleansed in fire when a giant gourd shows up. I hope I didn't butcher it too much, but I tried to condense it in a single sentence. And the gourds that they were familiar with, if you turn them upside down, they look like mushroom clouds. So if you've got a bunch of Hopi fundamentalists gathering uranium, watch out. That, you know, it's that kind of thing where these fuckers are actually trying to, I think, fulfill their own end times prophecies, because they think that Jebus is going to come back and hoist them all away and not make them live in the cesspit that they created. And all it's going to do is make everybody fucking miserable. And then they're not going to get harpazoed away, and then they're going to be upset. But they won't be able to do anything because they were cunts and they didn't listen.
I'm very nervous about the continuing fallout from the debate.
So far, it hasn't affected polls all that much. Only 'cause-
I actually heard somebody talking about polls that a large number of independents that have been surveyed and stuff like that said that the debate made up their mind for who they're going to vote for, and it's Biden.
I heard some people will talking about how they switched to Trump.
That's insane how people could do that. You know, one is for freedom, the other is for dictatorship. How can you vote for that? How can you vote for? How stupid can you be?
I wouldn't say either is really for freedom, but
Well, you're far too cynical for your young age.
It's kind of like where you have what this is you probably don't. Well, I know you, Jenny, you spend time on Twitter, but you have these Russian accounts tweeting.
Here we go again.
No, I know that they don't do anything to us, and all our fuckery is homegrown. And while we do have a bunch of homegrown fuckery, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't want to exacerbate it. But you have people who are like, I'm for LGBT rights, and by the way, they're holding Hamas shit. And there are accounts that kind of peddle those memes on the Twitters. And Hamas is antithetical to LGBTQ rights, but it's like no one puts on their brain.
Yeah. I don't disagree with any of that. Oh, Orla's here. Hi, Orla. Haven't seen you in like forever. Nice to have you back.
Let me look at the live feed. For some strange reason, this computer was not connecting to the internet. I unplugged it, which didn't work before, but somehow it is, so I don't have to tether my phone to it anymore. Hola. Yeah. Those eyes. I should make an animation like that. They're squishing the eyes all over the place. There's so much going on there that it'd probably take a good 20 minutes to animate that by hand. And get it right.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
saw. Go ahead.
It's a pretty complicated GIF. You saw what?
I just saw you're talking about eyes, and it clicked in my head. I saw this picture of a locomotive that meant something to a group of people. I don't know what. I don't care. A modern locomotive.
Oh, I have to send
and somebody put a pair of gigantic googly eyes on the front of it. And it's just so perfect. It looks so cute.
I'm looking for a picture of a railway in Switzerland. They had the longest passenger rail car, and the track that they built was specifically to break the world record. I'm looking for it. I think I sent the image to my brother, so I will go there. I can't find it on my phone.
Oh no.
It looked wild. I thought that it might have been located in somewhere in Asia. Oh, right here. It's right here. I'm sending it to Mage.
Orla, the answer to that is for the same reason you have Christian conservative groups hanging out in Africa and getting them past capital punishment-based anti-LGBTQ laws.
Okay, what is this?
That is a rail way in Switzerland that they built specifically for breaking the world record of longest passenger train.
Can we see it too?
Yeah, I was just getting it up.
What?
The train was about 4 miles long.
And they did that whole structure just for show.
Parts of it they are going to be using long term for commuting, but it was like the 100th anniversary of the rail line, so they did it for show. Yeah. And the whole thing was designed to give you the most scenic views.
Where is it located?
Switzerland.
Of course. Well, that's kind of interesting, actually.
They were going real slow down that one.
I imagine.
Yeah.
4 mile long train. God damn.
How'd they unload it? That's what I'd like to know. Because they had actual passengers on it.
I don't know, half mile at a time. I'm sure.
That would have been an interesting ride.
I'm going to be taking a train trip pretty soon after getting off of a plane.
Where are you going again?
You'll know shortly. It's a secret.
Okay.
Purple knows, and
Well, have a nice time in Latvia.
If anything comes from it, you will get a link.
Okay.
I'm not going to be in Latvia. I'm going to go to the Netherlands and then from there to a certain place.
Oh, you should hook up with NJ. One of the people on the chat list.
I'm trying to put the name to the avatar.
Kind of the side of a face giving you the hairy eyeball. Just do a search in the chat room for NJ.
Okay.
She'll pop up. And maybe, when you get there, you could, a little nookie or never mind.
I'm going to have to be careful not to eat anything that makes me fail a drug test when I get back to America. So, I had a friend who served on a U.S. Navy cruiser, and he was like, "Oh shit, I ate the wrong kind of cookie." And the commanding officer said, "Don't worry about it. Whenever we go to the Netherlands, we don't drug test anyone for 2 weeks because of shit like that." I wouldn't say shit, but the marijuana's so loosey-goosey.
Interesting.
Hey, Orla, did you hear the nasty thing Starm was saying about trans people? Cure Starmer. The political parties in UK confuse me. I don't know who's who and what's what. All I know is that Tories are bad.
Tories suck. Let's see. Who was it? The Brexit guy. He's lying for Putin. And then I don't know who else is running. Nigel Farage is basically blaming the West for the war, and that's a load of crock.
What, the war in the Middle East?
In Ukraine.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty stupid. I mean, it's important to realize that there are indeed Nazi groups in Ukraine, but there's such a small number of people.
You know what's fun about Ukraine, right? Some of the language, like the language itself, listen to the Ukrainian word for heroes, heroim. And my friend's dad was a professor at University of Hartford, and he did a lot of archaeological digs in Eastern Europe and the Holy Land. And I'm just gonna say, leave it at that. But he was an expert in Hebrew, and he said scholars honestly couldn't tell where the "im" came from, whether it came from Jewish influence or Islam. And there's just so much crossover between bits and pieces of Ukrainian culture and Jewish culture. It's probably one of the least, it's the only country in the world outside of Israel that has a Jewish president and prime minister. So the idea that it's anywhere as close to approaching anything significant is bollocks as far as anti-Semitism goes.
Well, the claim that any money that goes to Ukraine is funding Nazis is the chant that the right wing is living on right now, but it's just not true.
Does anyone remember Ukin? He's the co-founder of Wagner PMC. Ukin had SS tattoos on his shoulders, and Wagner PMC was named after Hitler's favorite composer. And Alexander Dugin is huge into theosophy. He has a book called Chaos Magic. He's a fan of Blavatsky, and Blavatsky was deeply anti-Semitic, and she thought basically a lot of her nonsense fed the Nazis. So that's where it is. And unfortunately, a lot of people on the right in America look to these fuckers. Oh, they hate the LGBTQ community. That means they're on my. No, they're not on your side. They want to kill you just as much as they want to kill everyone on the panel and everyone in Ukraine. They don't care. They want to dominate the world. They're not going to, but they want to.
On the Nazi thing with the Ukraine, yes, they do have one group that are Nazis that fight in their military, but we actually have a way of saying, yeah, we're going to fund and you help you with weapons, but you're not allowed to give it to that particular group.
That's interesting.
There's a history to that.
Yeah, there is a history.
Basically, you had a few people on the wrong side of politics, but on the right side of history that wanted the Russians gone. And basically, over time, that particular group is the bad guys are being the world people who sympathize with the World War II bad guys are being phased. I don't want to say more because it's so complicated. I already probably botched up what they're doing.
Mhm.
But like the Russians point out that in the provisional government, that there were a lot of hard right World War II bad guy people, but all but 3% of them got got thrown out of office when they actually had elections. So the general public of Ukraine was not really interested in their bullshit.
Mm. Yeah, from my understanding, it was basically some of their better or trained troops, but it's a very very small percentage of their overall military.
They had the Ukrainian government in 2014 had a choice. Basically, accept these people who want to kick the Russians out and are willing and, blah, 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 to help, or basically let, basically let the Russians run you over. And it's not, and again, I don't think that that particular group is hard the way it was anymore, as it's in the Ukrainian government's interest to, over time, phase the fuckers out.
Yeah.
And I hope that I did not spread. And in other words, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt.
Look it up, in other words.
The official Ukrainian position on Nazis is kick those fuckers out. President Zelensky. But you got the shitheads in every country. So, but they're a very small.
Is Zelensky? Is that pronounced right?
Zelensky, yeah, he's
Zelensky.
Jewish.
I don't care about that. Is he as cool as he seems in the press and what we see of him here in the States? Do you think?
I don't know how he's evolved, and I do not know enough about Ukrainian politics. His position on things to actually say whether or not in peacetime I would vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
Operator Starsky actually didn't. I do not remember, and please do not take too much about what I'm going to say, because words in different countries have different meanings. But I remember operators, so a libertarian in Ukraine might not be the right word Starsky was looking for, but that's a word Starsky used to describe him.
I see.
I do not know if he fits the mold of American libertarians. So please look up his positions from basically I'm trying to remember Zelensky's political party. I think it's the People's Party. I'm not sure. But you need to find out what his political party is, and then look up his positions on his authorized website, or else you will run into disinformation. And I do not want to spread that. I may have gotten some of the Azov stuff confused. So you go to official Ukrainian sources, because there's so much in misinformation out there. You need to make sure you go to the official sources and not anything controlled by Russia. I'm just clarifying that because I don't want to say anything bad. But as far as personality goes, he was a late night comedian. Had his own talk show. And as far as personality goes, I'd say he's as cool as he's made out to be as far as personality. I do not know about non-wartime domestic politics. I do not know enough about that.
Well, I think we should take a lesson from that and make Stephen Colbert president
Yes.
with Jimmy Kimmel as vice president.
And then if Stephen Colbert was president, then we would have a Jewish president because 400 years ago his mom's. I was just making a joke.
I think I'd rather have of Jon Stewart.
He'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
fun too.
Yeah, that would. I wonder if he could.
What about
stay-
president and vice president?
Colbert actually doesn't really have that great in terms of politics. In his personal
Oh,
politics.
geez. He's on politics every night when he does his monologue.
Yeah, what you see on TV doesn't necessarily reflect what he actually believes.
I think Kimmel is excellent when it comes to his political jokes and things. He really nails it, and he picks on Biden too. You know, he doesn't ignore it. So he's fair about that. But he gets a lot of very positive press from a lot of different places. I like him. I never used to watch him, but when I moved to where I am living now, that I can only pick up ABC as a station and Fox. So I've been forced to watch him or be, bored to death staring at my four walls. But I like him. He's a good guy.
Jon Stewart for president, you're absolutely right, would be fun.
Yeah, I would trust Jon Stewart to do the job. I don't think he would come anywhere near it, but
Well, actually, there was one little comment he made that kind of suggested he might be interested in it.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you recall
What-
what it was?
I don't recall what it was. I think it wasn't so much a yes as a not a no.
Okay.
Well, you need every single super delegate to remove Biden from the nomination if the dedicated delegates do not choose another. I don't know that the rules let them.
I think they would choose another in this particular case.
Orla Purple is taking care of Sloth Girl. She became dizzy and problematic suddenly, and so she's going to the hospital.
Yeah,
and Perp is assisting.
Yeah, there was a nurse with Soft Girl, so, but there was concerns there, and they had to get her to the hospital.
God, that whole situation just breaks the fuck out of my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, two of the most gentle, kind people on earth, and they're facing this. It's just.
And if anybody isn't aware, this is terminal for Sloth Girl.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, no shit. I think I've lost maybe. I think I've never tried to count it, but I think about maybe 20 people to cancer in my life. And I'm just a kid yet, as far as I'm concerned. It's so horrible, so rampant. 3 of them died from brain cancer. All within like 2 months of each other. That was a rough summer.
It's just off the top of my head, 3 people, but they were pretty close to me for the most part. It was my grandmother, my girlfriend in high school, and one of my aunts.
Yeah, I really miss Jay. He was one of the guys who died from brain cancer. he was a car guy, and he came and worked at the shop. He was a lawyer, but he'd come and work at the shop periodically. And he was into teaching high performance driving and things like that. And one day he came to an event and he kept running over the pylons instead of going around them. And he said, I never saw it. And he checked himself out and he realized that he couldn't see anything in his right side peripheral. That just stuff wasn't there, even
Oh,
though
wow.
it was. And yeah, it's like the brain just took that part of his vision away. And he realized that something serious is wrong. And within the next week, we knew that he had brain cancer and it was going to be inoperable.
Yeah, let's see, my aunt, she died the same year as my grandmother. That was really rough on my uncle there. That was a rough thing. So he lost his mother, wife, and then later after after my aunt's wife died, his dogs died,
Oh, man.
all in the same year.
Oh shit.
That was a rough one. We were kind of keeping an eye on him, make sure he was okay, as far as he could be mentally. We were keeping a close eye on him at the time.
Yeah, it's so fucking tough losing a parent. I'm still not over my mom.
And neither am I. I mentioned this before. I was the one who found my mom after she died.
Well, that's awful too.
Yeah, she was acting strange all day, and she ended up wanting to go over to a friend's house because she had broken her foot earlier in the year, at the beginning of the year. So she was in a wheelchair for a while. I was pushing around. She couldn't get out anywhere for a while, and then her foot was starting to heal up some. So she wanted to go visit a friend for a while, and she was there. And they brought her back. It was kind of late at night. I heard her come back. And I heard her lay down, and a few hours later, I kind of woke up in the middle of the night, and it's very check on her. She was kind of acting odd that day, and she was gone.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah. Well, my mom had died of metastatic breast cancer, but it was on a slow burn. But I was estranged from the family at the time because they had kicked me out for being a pervert, and none of them told me that she had cancer. And I only got to see her for about 15 minutes before she died.
Well, at least you got to see her.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should get to a better topic here.
Cancer sucks.
Anybody have any good sex lately?
Fortunately, no.
Oh boy, I'm probably gonna have my computer go off in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we hear that.
I'm gonna shut it down.
Was
It's
that
all
a
right.
On.
is that a power supply arguing? Oops. Bye.
Sounded like a power supply thing.
Why do PCs go through so many power supplies?
I don't know. Let's see. I got Molly here looking for attention. So we got something. So what else we got going on here? Like, this might be an early shutdown day.
Well, if anybody's in the neighborhood of Milwaukee, Milwaukee is having its Summerfest, its annual Summerfest celebration. They always do a really big fireworks show on the third Independence Day night on the 3rd. Anyways, it's drawn as many as 1 million people down to the lakefront. The whole state tilted. It was so many people. They're just really beautiful because they shoot them out over the lake, and so you get all the reflection of that. And there's hundreds of boats in the harbor just watching it from there, because it's directly under where they're shooting them off. And it's beautiful. So if you're in that area, get over to Summerfest. Everybody who's anybody in music has performed at that festival. And it's very worth seeing.
Let's see here. No, last night I binged a bunch of animated shows on YouTube. Somebody who created this thing. It was basically they took like songs and this kind of created animation around it, so like an AMV. And so they've done a whole series on it called Vampire. And it's telling a whole story throughout it with using these songs. So
I should put a link on that.
Let's see here. Mute it. Start with pull up the first one here just so you can see what I'm talking about. It's the night. That's it. We got. This is the first one. So you have animation. You have this big castle, and it starts with this kind of nerdy-looking young girl who goes into the castle to read her Twilight book. And she's sitting there reading her book, and the castle is inhabited by this vampire. So, and the vampire basically he starts harassing her throughout the entire her thing. And, imprisoning her in the castle and all that, and she wraps her up and transforms her outfit into this kind of black velvet or purple velvet dress. Puts her on like a marionette strings, getting her to dance around the hall. She manages to escape. Right there. And as he's running, he manages to catch up to her and starts dancing with her. And while she's dancing, she notices this little ray of light coming through the window here, and that gives her this plan to stop him. So she starts to kind of come on to him a little bit to lure him in. And he's kind of falls for it, and starts getting a little handsy with her. And bam, takes a staff and He's done. However, there's this twist. The staff is cursed, and now she's a vampire.
What staff?
The one she's holding right there in her hand.
Oh, I see. Oh well.
That one.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, it's a possessed, cursed staff, as you find out in some of the later episodes.
Well, she should have had some civil disobedience going on there.
And they're kind of antagonists throughout the rest of the series. These were in some of the later ones. She resurrects him from the dead just to fuck with him some more.
So an amateur made this all by themselves?
Yeah, this is from Daria Cohen, and they use different music videos to play for the themes. They had like the one where she resurrects him and fucks with him. She puts it to the song "Fuck You" by Lily Allen.
God, I love that song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Really. She's got a lovely voice. I really like her voice.
Yeah. So it's. I just kind of sat there. I watched through the playlist. Most of the stuff that's on the channel are speed draws or speed paintings. So every so often they release one of these, and apparently the next season of this will be focusing on her backstory and how she was before she became all vampire-y.
Well, maybe she could be a good vampire and, eat bottles of blood instead of taking people's lives.
Well, she's definitely not a good guy in the story, but she's more of the protagonist in the first season, but later on she becomes more of an antagonist and actually kind of joins up with the other vampire, even though they still seem to hate each other in a way. Get your computer stuff fixed there, Commander?
Yeah. Playing around with the AI.
What?
Playing around with the AI. Voice that.
Sounds like you have your voice filter
But
on.
actually, yeah. And my computer was, for some strange reason, my circuit breaker went up, and it was basically beeping because the computer takes so much power. The alternative power supply was going to crap out.
Yeah, usually when those happens, those things you only have about a minute or so before you can save and shut down.
Is that your voice or is that a filter?
That's a filter.
It's very
filter.
It's very disquieting. It gives me the creeps.
Well, it's Bledsoe. That's why.
All right.
You got the dark branding here. I don't know how well that is, but it was fun to basically have this one talk about the goddamn flat earthers are supporting Trump, and that's a very bad sign of our educational system.
Oh,
That
that's
you go to a Trump rally and ask if the earth is flat, and some people say yes.
they've been um, pro Trump, pro Nazi for a long time. They're flat earthers are very, very commonly. In fact, I have never met a flat earther who wasn't a Trumpian. And everyone I've ever met of flat earthers hate trans people. They believe in book banning, all these nasty things. They're just any conspiracy they can get their hands on, they believe.
Well, that's what the brain, that's what conspiracy theories do, right? They cause you to get the brain mush, where you basically rewarded for all these nuggets that you find. You get this dopamine hit. I remember after the Jan 6 thing and they did special summers, there were people who were running around finding patterns in license plates. And the more they stayed along the line, and the more they got the dopamine hits, the more they stayed up online finding the dopamine hits. And they were exhibiting the behavior you get from meth addicts because they were being sleep deprived. But sleep depriving causes them to be even more suggestible they already were, which leads them down to more fucking radicals. And that's where we already have them.
What a shame. I mean, I know of at least 3 marriages that broke up because of flat Earth, and
Wow.
that's so sad. I'm surprised.
Does anyone remember the most? I'm sorry.
I'm just was going to say I'm surprised that CC guy from West whatever county that his wife hasn't walked away from him.
He needs health insurance. That's what it is.
Yeah, maybe. I would bet she has a better job than he does. I don't know for sure, but based on what it appears in his background, when he always does his videos from the car, it looks like he's driving a van with a lift out the back tailgate. It's an oversized van, so I think he's transporting people who need transport, who are in wheelchairs or disabled in some other way that they can't get around. Maybe seniors, and that's what I think his job is, which is a commendable job. I mean, people need to get around to their medical appointments. It's very important. Having somebody who's willing to do that, that's a good thing. So I give him credit for that. But he's a lunatic.
It's when he's driving. When he's driving while doing that too, right? Because you can wind up getting your license taken away. I don't know how we got that taken away already for fiddling with your phone while driving.
Well, I don't know what New York's laws are about that.
Basically, 3 texts you're out. then it's really, if you have your hands on your, technically in the state of New York, technically if you're sitting parked and your car is on and you're fiddling with your phone and you're in a parking space, the cops can ticket you. They don't, but they can.
Say that again.
Basically, if you, it's this way too in Virginia. If you're parked, sitting in your car, and your car is running in a parking space, technically, a cop can ticket you for texting while operating your vehicle.
If the car
They
is running.
usually don't. Yes, if the car is running. So if the AC, you're running it for the AC, they technically can. They usually don't, because most judges will throw that shit out. But they technically can.
That sounds a little overboard.
I remember a professor at the community college said one of his students was nailed by that. And the wording in the state of Virginia and the wording in the state of New York is so similar, I would assume that they technically court.
I got busted by cops once when we were necking. We're having a good old time. We're both practically half naked. And this cop comes right up behind us with his headlights on, turns on the brights, gets out of the car, and he's literally on top of us in seconds. He drove up, must have driven up to the car with his lights out. We were in a county park at the time. And that's what I think he did, is that he snuck up with his headlights out, and he caught us. And he said, if you're not out of here and blah, 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 I'm going to give you a ticket. Okay, I'm leaving. We're leaving. Just let us get dressed. God, that was a fun night.
Oh boy. So, what we got here? TV Tube Me here. Okay. Mark Caesar here.
Murky Poo and TV Tube Me.
Yeah, this might be a short one. Don't have much to say today.
Not a great topic.
Yeah.
Did you know last month, all the nutcases bitch about it's what do you get a whole month for Pride Month, huh? What about us white males, heterosexual white males? Well, it turns out last month was Men's Health Month. Did you know that?
You know what's incredible? Well, this whole thing is incredibly ridiculous. We're a group that makes up probably close to 45% of the population. There 45% of the population that has preferential pay, i.e. women usually make less for the same job. And basically,
there's a little story on that beside. That's not as big of a issue as it's made out to be, but anyway, go on.
Basically, if no one's after you, they're not after you because you're a white straight man. They're upset with you because you're being a cunt. And there's a huge difference between being a jerk and being a white straight dude. They do not always have to be the same thing.
So also it'd probably be you could not use it as if they're synonymous though, as I've seen some people on the left do. I should say far left do.
Yeah, they're not the same thing. So,
I'm
people
confused.
get
What
paranoid.
are you talking about?
In other words, he was talking about how white men. The conversation went to white straight men get shut. There's not a month for them, and then you said, "Yeah, there's Men's Health Month." And then I was just thinking about the paranoia that the far right and the manosphere just fill people with. Like, they basically tell everyone that the society hates white straight men. No. If you're a white straight man, but you're not an asshole, society has no problem with you. If you're being a jerk, then yeah, but you got like that. The Tates of the world that teach men how to act like cunts so that they can't find women. There's no one that wants to be around them. And then rather than stop acting like cunts, they continue to act like I should take charts. I think everyone knows that they basically reinforce the destructive behavior and they can't find women because they're acting like jerks. And they think everyone hates them because they're straight men, but no, you're just being a jerk.
Well, I'll agree with that. I mean, I know I've known lots of men who are very stand-up, decent guys, and that I'd be willing to date and lay down for. But so many of them are just such goddamn pieces of shit, and they really need to recognize that and do something with themselves and do something to police the guys they know who aren't good guys. They say something stupid, you should call them on it and talk it over with your buddies, man to man. But they don't do that. They want to blame everybody else.
The Gillette commercial.
Hmm?
I'm sorry. Do you remember the Gillette commercial after the Unite the Right rally, where they were like, "Don't be a bully. Help the old lady across the street. Be an upstanding person." And everyone on the right was throwing a shit fit because they were suggesting that people not be a bully and not rambling and wily you-know-whats, and basically behave like a decent person. Like it was an attack on them for calling out bullies and cunts.
I don't recall that being that way, but okay.
Don't work it out.
I'm a little bit lost in what you were saying.
There's the commercial after the Unite the Right rally that basically said that men should encourage their boys not to be bullies and to basically behave themselves. And people like got an initial one that has his face pulled in, looks like his forehead was pushed in, head's turning point, and then also Ben Shapiro got in on it, where this Gillette commercial was an attack on masculinity.
Oh!
I have the commercial.
That was the one
right
where
here.
that was the one where they had a trans boy, young man, wasn't it? And Dad was teaching the trans young man, how to shave. Is that the one you're talking about?
I'm gonna send it to Mage.
Hey, Tsunami.
This is the commercial.
Okay. Let me just check it here. Okay, it doesn't sound like there's music playing behind it, so. Let's see where it is. There it is.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
This is a different one.
We can't hide from it.
No, this is a different one than what I remember people complaining about.
Harassment is taking over.
It's been
About this one.
We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys.
Oh, well, this is the one I remember. Oh, yeah, this is the one that they're, yeah.
Well, let's just see it, okay?
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
What she says is a lie.
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie. Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. But some is not enough.
It's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
And they protested against that?
Yes, they threw away their razors. They threw a shit fit because they said, don't treat women like second-class citizens. Don't beat people up in school for absolutely nothing at all. And just try to be a good person. Yep, they protested that.
Well, that says a lot. Maybe we could do that as a topic sometime. Is toxic masculinity and
the women.
what it really is and all that kind of stuff.
No bigger thing. It's you go to and it's dot cross. Well, again, there's Brussels everywhere. Actually, won't be everywhere. But I worked and I went from working in South Florida where there was like one culture to working in Virginia where it was the deep south and most people were just fucking idiots.
Yeah,
So it's not everywhere.
There's a lot of those. That's one thing that this whole Trump craze for the last 10 years has taught me is how many absolutely stupid, uneducated people we have in this country. It's just, I mean, I always knew that it was higher than it should be, but it's spectacularly high. And the megas have proved that. That they're the only reason they like Trump is because Trump lets them be the scum of the earth that they are. And make it okay. And almost every day, I thank my lucky stars that I'm not a guy.
there are plenty of good dudes. So
Yeah, they just don't want to fuck me. That's all. Well, Mage, what are you going to do here?
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. What's chat want us to do? Any of you want to come on up here and talking shit?
and Twitter is just the worst. I'm looking at the Twitter feed, and you got you got Gnafo people basically calling this one an idiot. That's why it showed up. This one's got sickles and hammers all over its, everything. And it's telling boomers that they'll be more conservative when they're 30s, in their 30s. And there's a guy in his 60s with, Che Guevara shit. And many for people are just making fun of that douchebag. But Twitter's worse than it was, and just getting looks not Twitter anymore is a shitter.
Yeah, they've changed the algorithm enough that you don't even find the people who you used to know. It used to be that whatever you looked at most and things like that became the group that the algorithm kept sending people to you, and now it's like it doesn't even exist, and whatever comes up is random. So you don't see your follows, you don't see them, and they don't see you, and you get all these nasty, horrible, bad people who are only into causing trouble. I just don't get that.
Powers. Punching Nazis is always cool.
Yes, it is.
If you go up to the top here, you have For You and Following. If you click on Following, you'll see the people that you're following. And Elon Musk.
I don't get what you're saying.
At the very top of the page, see what I have up on the screen?
Yeah.
You have at the very, very top of the page, you have For You, and you have Following.
Yeah.
If you click on Following, you'll see the stuff just from the people you're following. And if you click on For You, you'll get all that crap that you're talking about.
I'll have to try that.
And Elon Musk.
Yeah, I keep getting followed by Elon Musk.
You'll get Elon Musk no matter what you do.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's not really him.
Oh, that's really him. He just happens.
No, I don't believe that.
Oh, that's him. All right.
Elon Musk is a cunt.
But he fixed the algorithm, so you have to see his posts, whether you follow him or not.
I never let one of those Elon Musk robots stay in my followers. I always block them and delete them, and I never get Elon Musk tweets, whatever.
I have a problem where I keep picking up followers that only have like one post, and
yeah, those are bots, honey. Just dump them.
I know.
Just dump those fucks. Well,
all right. there's a puppy
Oh
being
no,
used to scoop up.
oh no, it does make a difference. I've definitely seen a difference in them. You also get stuff that your followers will click, so you might get, so you still don't get everything filtered out, but it does help quite a bit.
There's the dog shitting on the Russian flag. That's so wonderful.
Are we going to see it?
I haven't stabbed it through age. I just saved it.
Was it a little chihuahua?
Yeah, like a medium size. Looks like some sort of collie or something.
Oh, okay. Because there's this one with a chihuahua that people change it a lot. They put magazines with somebody's picture on it. They put newspapers in there. They put other flags in there. Oh yeah, that one I haven't seen. That's good. I like that one.
That is awesome. He knows right where to put it. Quite honestly, my grandfather told me that from his own personal experience dealing with Russians personally, his fathers and his fathers before him, he said that entire country sadly was, they have their own thoughts, but not their own mind. Basically, a huge portion of the population is zombie. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Now you've upset my stomach. I won't be able to eat the rest of the day. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
I don't
With
think
me not being able to eat. I'm sorry. Finish.
So I don't know who the person was. One of the Congress people has started the motions, put into motion, kicking her out of the house.
What would be so great? That woman, there's an entire paragraph in the book 1984 that was written just for her if she had a pretty face. And basically, there was not a thought inside her head. That was not a slogan. And there was no imbecility, absolutely none, that she wouldn't accept if it was handed to her by the party.
Yeah,
that's MTG. Well,
she's amazingly dumb. I mean, she's actually, in some ways, she seems very smart. And yeah, I've seen her say some things that took more than just a casual twitch of her butt to come up with, that are not sensible, but at least well spoken and explained. But she's still absolutely horrible person and has no business being in Congress. She's too juvenile. And yeah, I agree also, Sumani. She is an ignorant piece of shit. That's for sure. And the Gestapo soup. Gazpacho. Let's have gazpacho soup.
I was thinking of using this AI. And basically, there's this one line in Medieval Empire speech where someone who I hate with the intensity in 1,000 suns basically talks about a guy who would rather have his daughter die tomorrow and then quit and then become as ridiculous as Marjorie Taylor Greene. Just dubbed it, use the AI and the Reagan voice and dub back over, and basically had him say, change it from that man would have had his little girl die in nuclear fire that becomes ridiculous as mom treats you and written basically post. Is zombie territory, and she doesn't really have a mind.
Well, I hope she loses her election. Somebody's got to run against her and try. I mean, she's in a very, 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 very red county in a very, 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 very red state. So she's probably going to win. But what pisses me off most about that is she starts to gets to suck pension off the budget for the next however long she lives.
She needs to just dry up and blow away. If she loves you, Asha, so much, maybe she just should move there and leave us all the fuck alone.
Yeah. I'm just shocked as fuck that Lauren Boebert won her primary in Colorado. Well, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, I think so. We seem to be short on topics, really, and we're just kind of meandering at this point. So, Commander, what do you got? Very fascinating.
You're not coming through.
You're roboting and all that.
It's gonna go.
Okay. Jenny.
Oh, I got nothing but chat. Thank you for coming today and putting up with us being so quiet and scattered. We'll try to do a better job next week, and hopefully Purple will be here and Sloth Girl feeling better.
Yeah, boy. Things just keep falling apart left and right around here lately, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm working on a new video for my new channel. So if you want to go check that out, I've been pushing that. I should try and get another video out for my gardening channel at some point here too, pretty soon. I was working on a review of the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire here, but it might take me a little bit longer to put together than I was expecting, so I might need to come up with something in between that. So I'm trying to think of something short I can put together. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a review of that. Do a little overview of those that vampire series I watched. That might be interesting.
Okay. I just don't watch that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you go right ahead. Have a nice time.
Or maybe I'll do a quick review of the Three Stooges is meets Cthulhu.
Well, I might want to see some clips from that.
It's a comic book.
Oh, I find the Three Stooges to be very distasteful. I don't like them at all.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of slapstick comedy.
Well, whether it's comedy or drama, it doesn't matter. When the subject matter or the behavior, I should say, of the characters in whatever I'm watching or reading or whatever are violent and nasty and are yelling and screaming and that kind of stuff. It turns me off instantly. My father was like that. I was abused badly by him in that way, and it's a split-second trigger for me.
So not a fan of slapstick comedy, I take it.
Oh, well, yes, I am, but slapstick doesn't mean you actually have to slap somebody with a stick. And it doesn't mean you have to be mean and nasty and yelling and screaming. Slapstick comedy is just physical comedy.
All right. On that note, I guess we'll head out. Later.
Bye-bye later, chat. Love you guys.